Hello, and welcome to another live with me, Jessica, from the Tunisian Crochet Graphghan Boutique. I'll give everybody a few minutes to pop on here. I know that it takes a second for the notification to go out. And then get my stand straightened up here. Carrie, get out of there. Get. There we go. So we have decals going on over in the group that I'm sure that you guys have seen. Hopefully those are going well for everybody. I haven't been messaged with any questions, so I am going to assume that everybody is doing well with those. So if not, hit me up and let me know. I will be releasing one more hot pad after this one as a decal. Hey Deborah. I will be doing the one more after this one before Christmas. That one has little like diamonds on it, so that will be the next in the series. We have quite a few things going on. Let me see. What else? My handy dandy whip bag that is getting to be a bit too much. I am going to have to take a stitch marker and clip my ribbing together, because when I turn it's getting kind of short, but that's part of my ribbing for my bottom of my cardigan. So yeah, I got about halfway done. This will be one half, and then I have the other half. And so another person asked the yarn that I'm using. The yarn that I'm using is a wool. I was surprised because I don't really like a wool blend. But this is 60% silk, 20% wool, and 20% cashmere. So I like this. And they also have a 60-30-10. But the washing instructions are exactly the same for it. I will be using that for mine, and then the 60-30-10 is the one that is this blue. So mainly that's what I will be using for mine. There will be a design on the back. I will give you guys options for designs on the back. We will be talking in length. I will give a few poll options for some designs that you guys would be interested in, and they're going to be kind of like a one-size-fits-all, not exactly custom, but they're going to be custom done in the sense that we're going to take a few options and see what you guys want to do for these. Like I said, you guys that actually do join the lives get a higher weight to what you guys want. Tonight's pattern is the Illusion Spiral Shawl. Sandra posted the link to, you might have to copy and paste it, or a little late, we were watching a big buck in the front yard. They are nice to watch in the evening time come through. Hey Lisa, hey Sandra, Sherry, Melinda, Anna. Yeah, so you can use any weight for this when we do this cardigan. And we're also going to have the hat coming along soon. For those of you that got your locker hooks, I will be talking about how to start and what we're going to be doing here probably the beginning of October. So that gives everybody a chance to order their locker hooks and pick out whatever kind of yarn they want to use for this. Let's see. How is everyone's hot pads coming along? Does anybody have any questions? Comments? Things that they thought other members would like to know while they're doing it, since you guys are doing it first? Yeah, so I have more hot pad patterns coming here shortly. We will finish this one up, and then there will be one more before Christmas, and then there will be, I was thinking about doing one around Valentine's Day, because I know a lot of people do a lot of the springtime markets, so I was thinking about doing that around Valentine's Day. Locker hooks. Locker hooks or nooking hooks have the same makeup. Locker hooks actually have a larger hole in the end. Locker hooks were usually, they had thicker ones that were metal and they had thicker ones that were wood, but the hole in the locker hook is bigger than a nooking hook, and the reason that is because locker hooks were done with mesh, and then you took pieces of fabric and you cut them in strands, and then you put those through the end of the locker hook. There's an eye, like a big sewing needle in there, and you pull that through, and that's what helped make your pattern, or make your piece that you were doing, because you were working with strips of fabric. So the locker hooks have a larger hole in the background to accommodate that, where a nooking hook only has the small hole, which is about the size for a piece of yarn. So if you see the metal ones online, a lot of times, I think a lot of people are selling them as nooking hooks because they don't know what they're for, but they're actually locker hooks. But they do sell nooking hooks as well. And we will be using those for the hat for the first. It's going to be incorporated into the pattern, the nooking stitches, and then we will go into a Tunisian pattern. So it's going to be, you're going to need a nooking hook that's about the same size as what you're going to use for the Tunisian simple stitch. But again, you know, we talk about how gauge plays such a big factor in things. So you're going to want to do a small swatch with nooking, and there will be a tutorial, and we will talk about this just like we do with all the other tea-cows. But that will be coming next month. So I wanted to give everybody an opportunity to order their hooks, get them in, and then be able to play around with at least the knit stitch in that, and get a feel for it a little bit. And like I said, there will be a beginner's tutorial on what we're going to be doing, how we're going to be doing it, and a question and answers session so that you guys can get your questions answered. So if you guys get stuck or whatever, or having some difficulty, then you can, pop into there and ask some questions, or join me for a live and get your questions answered there. We have the
Can I have a study background?
It's not plugged in, my phone's dying.
That sucks.
So we have, I have a few colors. Like I said, I'm still playing around with my design. That's going to go on the back of my cardigan. But I have this really deep teal, I have this white, I have a pink, and I have a blue that came in, and I have the purple. So my pattern's kind of going to use those. And so, like I said, we're going to have to figure out whether you guys want to do a holiday themed one or whether you guys want something that can be like encompassing fall, spring, and everything, so that it's just more that can follow all of the seasons, that it's chilly outside, as not so dictated toward the holiday. Lisa said, hey Bella. Melinda said, hey Bella Boo. So, we had picture day today. So, yeah, so we will do a poll on that, but let me know in the comments below if you guys want something that's just pretty much striped or has a design like just a bland pattern that you can work up to get the idea of how to do this, or do you think we should do something that has like a graphed back to it or whatnot? Anna's saying seasonal. Seasonal.
Oh my god, Nana, I didn't tell you, but today he freaking hugged me, and I don't just mean like a regular, oh, chest to chest hug. I mean, he hugged my waist. Like, he's so boring.
Go away.
No, do you have any photo?
Something for all year. I find that for me personally, something that was graphed that has like a little bit of a design in it would be cool. But something that encompasses all of the year that you can get away through would be a good start. For those of us that want something graphed, there's going to be an option to have something graphed.
Wait, is there a soda in the back basement?
No. So it's going to depend greatly on what you want yours to look like, but we're going to have a bland one that's generic, for lack of better words, as well. So,
what you pushing me for? I'm gonna embarrass you.
So does anybody have any questions? Hey Stephanie.
Who's that?
Does anybody have any questions about the hot pads? How is everyone's coming? Does anybody have any, is anybody stuck? How's everything coming? So if you guys need something, as always, I'm available, so you guys can PM me. I will not be around this weekend. I am doing probably the last camping season or trip of the year, only because our place is usually not open very often, and our camping spot will be open, so I will be cramming in as much campfire time as I possibly can.
Yeah, I got it. I got it.
So this weekend will be a relaxation time. Anna said, Bella, you're so silly.
Who's that again?
Anna.
Like, from Frozen.
Yes, I have Anna from Frozen on.
But old. No offense. Where's the straws?
In the second drawer down.
You changed it?
I have a lot of hot pads done. Has been my favorite since you released it a while ago. Yeah, we have a few different patterns that are going to come out with those. I was thinking around February we could do the hearts, because I think that those would be appropriate for Valentine's Day. and then that would kind of wrap up the series with those. We will be doing the keyhole towel as well. That will be coming after this is done. And then the cardigan, I'm hoping to start sometime the beginning of November, only because, and watch out for any bees. Yes, I still got my foot up. I've had ice on it. It's still a mess. Stay away from the bees and the spiders this weekend. It's most definitely. I have an EpiPen this time too. So, I'm thinking, like I said, toward November we can start playing around with either the hat or the cardigan. I'm thinking the cardigan, maybe a January thing, because it's going to be so labor intensive. It is going to take us a while to do it, and I know that so many of us have orders and Christmas gifts and stuff that we're going to be working on. I have a dog sweater to do. I have a bunch of things that I need to get done before. So I'm thinking the hat would be the next easiest one, because we'll be using the nooking hooks. So, yeah, we have all of that going on, and then I think that's about it. We have a lot going on in here. I was also thinking about doing another mosaic pillow. I did not have the pattern tested, but it is going to complement. It is going to complement the back panel that we did from.
Here's some milk.
Go away.
I'm gonna go
It
shower.
is going to complement the back panel that we did to the Grinch stock, or the Grinch one that we did. And also, we will be starting another stocking here too, that will be coming up before Christmas as well. So I'm hoping to get that we can get these hot pads wrapped up this week, and then that gives everybody an opportunity to finish them off and start on to get your nooking hooks and stuff in. Is Bella crochet with you? She does crochet a little bit. She's easily frustrated and gets distracted easy. She's discovered boys, so crocheting's fallen down the list.
Which wasn't a very comfortable thing to have in my butt. But anyways, where's that speaker?
Upstairs. You put it in the bathtub last time, and it got
Does
water
Bella
in it.
crochet with you?
Yes.
No.
Get out of here.
I do not perform. I don't go with child labor.
She doesn't say does she crochet for you.
I don't support child labor.
Go away. Sounds like Aunt Melissa. She throws them down and walks away.
So this is what you guys look like.
Go away. So hopefully we can get all of those wrapped up, and then I was hoping toward April we could do something small, because I would like to do gift baskets for Bella's teachers and school lets out in June. So as you all know, it takes a while to make for each one of the teachers. And this is another reason why, too, these hot pads and the tea towel toppers and all of that would make great gifts that can be thrown in there that could, go in there with the coffee cup, or, I like to do the coffee cup with a lot of the teachers like chocolates. So I usually do a coffee cup and fill it with chocolates and wrap it and put some of the kitchen stuff in there, and depending on what each teacher likes, I tend to coordinate that way. So, but, you know, at this point in time, all of our teachers all live on their own, you know, so they can all use kitchen stuff and things like that. So that's why I like these little gift baskets, and they're quick. And I do some of the pillow panels as well over the year. That's what I tend to do with my extra pieces that I haven't done as customs. So this dog sweater I'll be starting soon. It's done in like granny squares, so it's not exactly Tunisian. It's one of them things that, you know, somebody sees online and is like, hey, can you make this for me? Yeah. So yeah, so we'll be doing that. Like I said, the 50 grams of yarn, which is what these are 50. And I don't, you know, I love this yarn. It is so nice and soft. It almost feels like a cotton bamboo mix. And it's really nice. One of these has made half of my girth. As you guys know, if you're doing I'm doing the single crochet back loop only ribbing. You guys can do whatever ribbing you want. A lot of people do not like a ribbing around the bottom of a sweater because if you are bigger in the hips, a lot of people don't like that. But this 150 gram did all of that, and like I said, this thing can stretch like there's no tomorrow. This is, you know, super gummy, which is why I like it. I like something that is gummy around the bottom to have the ribbing at the bottom, because for me, since I use mine a lot to go camping or to get into the car to go for, you know, to go somewhere, I like something that's fitted a little bit close toward the bottom. Now, you could make your ribbing as loose as you wanted to, or you could not add ribbing if you don't want to. I like the ribbing because I don't like that cold air getting up underneath of like a sweatshirt or a jacket. So that ribbing, I'm going to do a loose ribbing with mine. So, like I said, that probably will not come until like January, but we will throw around some design ideas in the back in case there are people that want to do one that maybe has stripes, or one that has seasonal colors, you know, that you think, you know, fall and spring, you think, you know, greens and reds and pinks, and so, like I said, it's just going to depend on the look that you're going for. I took a chance here when I ordered this from Temu, because they have that farmland game, and I play that, and like there's a group with a bunch of us here that crochet, and since we play it every day, you can only share your link and accept so many people a day. So we have an actual chat that if anybody's interested in, you guys can join, and there's like an 8-day rotation that everybody gets thrown in, and on your day you share your link, and then you get people's to accept that are in the group chat on their day. They accept your link, and that way you earn extra water for feeding your stuff. So anyway, like I said, I got this from Temu. They have a couple different fibers that are really nice. This one is a silk, wool, and cashmere. So this one's a 6/30/10, and they also have another one that is a 6. Where did I see that now? A 60/20/20. That's a 60 silk, 20 wool, and 20 cashmere. So the fibers are just about the same for this. The thickness is the same. So I won one of these, so that's why the one is different than the rest of them that are the 60, 30, 10. So, but I really don't think it's going to make that big of a difference because the washing instructions are exactly the same. The feel is the same. So, that's what I'll be using for mine. Mine is going to have an optical illusion kind of lettering across the back and a heart. So it's going to have stripes. So I wanted stripes. Also, some people were talking about the way that they like theirs constructed. So we are going to talk about a few different construction options for this. A cardigan is obviously split down the front. So one of the options that we are going to have for this is you can always crochet up your body and then chain out for your arms and work out and then attach your cuffs, because if you make this, you can stretch this out and second hand whip stitch this through those holes that are in between your rows and put that on for your cuff. So that way it's one piece and then you're just doing the arms out. You can also do the body, the back, and then the front, and then do your arms round and then connect them straight up and down. And then that is a little bit more customizable in the sense that if you took notes along the way, you could see like how often you would want to increase because everybody's arms are bigger and smaller. And I've seen this so many times with patterns that people buy and they complain, you know, well, my forearm's thicker and I had to add all these stitches and the pattern didn't account for that. Where this is going to account for that in the sense that as long as you keep a little bit of notes with your pattern, I usually keep everything in one bag and I keep a notepad with it. And I also put a stitch marker in, and this tells me what size hook I'm using. On the top of my stitch markers, it says what size each stitch marker coordinates to each hook. So that helps me because I have like a little tin, and it says like my red stitch markers are a 5mm hook. My, you know, whatever color it coordinates with that for that, so that's how I know. So you're going to be able to customize these as long as you know that, like, okay, well, I'm going to get, you know, from the cuff, my wrist up, I'm going to do, you know, increases every 5 rows to get where I need to go to the elbow, and then I'm going to increase every 3 rows. What type of yarn would you recommend for wearable for beginners? And there's so many factors that play into that. If you're in a really hot environment, like a cotton bamboo is really nice because it wicks moisture away. But then you have to take into account too the weight of that, because sometimes that type of like a number 4 worsted weight cotton can be pretty heavy when you wash it, and the thickness. So a lot of times if I'm doing cotton, I like the 4/8 cotton or 8/4 cotton that Hobby has, HOBBII. With wool, you know, something with a wool or a silk in it tends to be a little bit lighter and still tends to moisture wick but stay warm. The wool that's in stuff, I'm not a big wool person. Like, I've bought a lot of spun yarn that has a wool fiber to it, and I really didn't like the feel of it, where this being mostly silk and just a pinch of wool, this is super soft and feels almost like a silky bamboo kind of texture, so I really like this. I would say that when you get these in the bags, you get the same color scheme in this bag, but if you order 2 or 3 bags, it may be off a little bit, which is why I would suggest maybe doing, picking 2 different colors. So if I ordered 2 whites and 2 blues and they were a little bit off, then I could use this bag of blues, this bag of whites, and then change or do, you know, as long as you keep your bags together, then your die lot is together, then I could use this for my 2 rows, or, you know, my stripe, however many rows of the stripes I want to do, and then do this, and then make sure that you kind of work it out so that you have enough left over that you don't run out and have to mix 2 die lots. Or you could add a fun, like, design in there if you decided you were going to run out and needed to mix a little bit. You could always run another color right through there to make it, you know, a color pop. But I will be using these, and this is going to be something that's going to be fun. So I don't want you guys to like really overthink this. It's going to be easy. And 2, one of the things, this is why I wanted to do the hat first, is because when we use the nooking hook for the hat, that is going to give you a good opportunity to figure out your ribbing. And if you really like the nook ribbing, then you will be able to go straight from nooking into Tunisian with just a little bit of change in what you're doing. And the nooking will have some more stretch to it. The rib stitch in nooking has a good bit of stretch to it, unlike Tunisian where it's more dense. So that's one of the reasons too that I would like to do the hat first, to get everybody on board and comfortable with the stitch and how they want to do it, because there are 2 different rib stitches that you can use that are pretty similar in the name of the stitch and what you're working, but it's different in how you hold your yarn, and that makes a bit of difference in the squishiness and the amount of stretch in it. So we will talk about that later on as well. Like I said, I don't want to throw too much at you guys and discourage you, but these are all the things that we have coming up that I find kind of exciting. So this weekend I will be finishing up my hot pads and getting those stitched together, so that gives you guys an opportunity to finish up the second hot pad in the series, or start that. Those will be up for a while. Some of our older decals will be coming down here pretty soon. We will be building on the Grinch pillow that we did. So when we do that, I will be sharing that back in the group, and it's going to have a completely different panel. So the other 2 panels that are up, we have a Grinch panel and the one with the trees on it. There will be another panel introduced, and it's just going to go straight into that cow. So that way you guys have an opportunity to pick from those. We have the beginning of next year, we will be doing the placemats for the table. Those will be done in the mosaic. And now those can be done in 2-color mosaic, or you can do bobbins. We will be actually using some bobbins in these, but you do not have to do that. I have this designed with bobbins, but you can just follow the 1-color scheme through and have that done as well. So Melinda said, I think the ribbon gives a finished look. Lisa said, what weight is this? They said this was more of a number 4 weight. This does call for, on some of these, it's calling for the 5mm crochet hook. So for me, for the ribbing, I'm using the 4.5mm. Or no, actually I'm using the 5mm for the ribbing on it. And then I will be using a different hook for Tunisian, obviously. So this is, I would say this is in between like a sport and a worsted weight. a little bit of a thinner worsted weight kind of ply to me, because it's, like I said, it's thick, but it's not it's not quite as thick as a worsted weight in my opinion. Although I am used to working with Hobby Lobby's worsted weight, which is a little bit heavier than other brands and thinner than others. So it just depends on what you're used to working with. But this is more of a DK weight or a sport weight, in my opinion. So I don't, like I said, the labels on these don't really come with anything on them. So you guys are probably going to laugh, but I have ordered these for my local classes, and had the label printed with the fiber content, the Tunisian Crochet Graphghan logo, the little cat we have, and then put the fiber content and the washing instructions on a label, because this is plain, and use those for some of the classes that I have, because I do give everybody, when they come to the class, some of my classes are free, so when you come in, you get to use some of our supplies for a class, and then other classes I have, they have the opportunity to use some of the free stuff and try the lender stuff that I have, and then you have the opportunity at that point to buy a specific color if that's what you want to do. And a lot of those are small projects that would use, 50 grams, like say my washcloths. I do a lot of the washcloth classes where people come in and they learn different stitches from me, and so like I said, it just depends on what we're doing. We just did bandanas, the little head bandanas that tie and go over your hair. We did I did little egg pouches. We have a little girl that comes to the classes, and she's probably, I'm going to say 8. And we did egg pouches for her, and so they only have, like, I think 4 chickens, so she goes out in the morning and gets the eggs. So she has a little pouch, and it only holds like 6 eggs on the front. So we did the egg pouch in Tunisian crochet for her. We've done a lot of that. So is that bandana pattern in your Payhip? Actually, it is not. I have been so slacking on putting stuff in Payhip lately. Angela has been so overworked with stuff that's going on at her job, and with getting back into school and everything else, and having the summer classes wrapping up. And then I meet with some of the local schools and have classes with them. We have it's a, how do they call it? Learning and Disabilities Educational, it's got like 4 or 5 letters to it, but it's a learning and disabilities students that I work with as well, and we just did, they just did pillows, so I have been very busy behind the scenes, but yeah, the bandana I'm hoping to get in there for spring. We have things going on with testers in the background. I need to get back into the Tunisian tester group, because I have a lot of my mosaics being tested by regular crochet people. So I had to do a tester call for regular crochet for small pillow panels to see what needs to be adjusted with those, because every designer kind of has their own writing style, and you need to know what you need to change to transfer a pattern from Tunisian mosaic to regular mosaic and vice versa, so that you can put in your pattern in your notes how to transfer each, because with overlay mosaic you cut at the end of each row if you're using regular crochet. So with Tunisian crochet you don't, so you have to like negotiate and add in the notes the difference. So if someone buys your pattern and wants to do it as a different stitch, then for the mosaic, for the most part, they can be done either way. So I have been working on all of those in the background, and trying to get the Christmas tester stuff together. It's there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. So this weekend will be absolutely fantastic to be able to have some downtime and just relax. Yeah, and two, the sweater that I'm doing, I didn't want a bunch of color changes in our cardigan. So the pattern that I designed for mine, even though it has a graph on the back, I didn't want a lot of color changes, and I wanted to play around with the idea of floats like for knitting. So I do not have the top of mine designed yet, so I'm still testing and playing around with that, because sometimes you have the greatest idea for a pattern and then you sit down and you just try to work it out and it just will not work. And that's where a lot of the admins and mods here, we all sit down and talk about it, and they're like, oh, you know, if you would have just did such and such, then that would work. Or no, we can't figure out how that's going to work. It's a great idea, but it doesn't work. It's great on paper, but not practical. Yeah, so all of that will be going on. And like I said, hopefully you guys have an opportunity to order your nook hooks or your locker hooks. I will be using locker hooks. Like I said, I really like the locker hooks because of the fact that the hole in the back is bigger in a locker hook. It's bigger than even like the metal darning needles, how they have the larger hole in the back. That's kind of what this is like. It has the big large hole eye in the back, so that you can weave your yarn through to pull it, because you're carrying your yarn along, kind of like we're working Tunisian in the round, but without turning. So I like that bigger hole, because as we get older, being able to see the little hole and you know, thread that, it becomes a pain in the backside. So I like the locker hooks better because it's easier to get your yarn in there and work with it. At least in my opinion. That's probably because my eyes are getting older. Alright, so does anybody have any questions? I mean, we went over a lot of stuff tonight. We went over a lot of the decals that are going to be coming up. And, like I said, always, if there is something that you guys want to see that we don't have in here, do not hesitate to reach out to me and say, hey, you know, do you think we could do this in the future or sometime soon? Because you guys are what keeps the group growing. I cannot tell you how many in the beginning when I found Facebook, because it was newer, because I'm so old, there was no internet. And then there was dial-up. When you join a lot of groups, they'll have this great cal and you join it and then they never have one like it again, and you never get any input, or you can't give input to the designer to say, you know what, we all would like to see people do, I don't know, scarves, you know. So it just depends on, you know, the group, but I always encourage input from all of you guys, because then it helps the group grow, and you guys can have input in what we're making and what we're going to do and where you guys want the group to grow. It's great to have ideas, but it's great to have input too. So is there any other questions right now for any of the things that I mentioned? I will be working, excuse me, in acrylic for the hat that we're going to be doing in the future. And we will be learning a few new stitches with that. And then once we have that down for the locker hook, once we have that down, and you guys have an opportunity to work that up, there's going to be probably a good week or two once I release that video. Then once I do that, that gives you guys an opportunity to practice with these, because the stitch is pretty easy. How long are locker hooks? They're probably about 6 inches, 8 inches. Nooking hooks, locker hooks. A lot of locker hooks are sold under the name nooking hooks because people don't know what the difference is. But the locker hooks tend to have a little bit bigger hole in them, the original locker hooks. You can find them a lot on Temu and Amazon, and I think that they're actually sold under nooking hooks. There's like a red one, a blue one, and a yellow one or something, and one of the like really off brands. It's kind of like the original Tunisian hooks that you can go on, and when you look up Tunisian hooks on Amazon, there's like that pack that you can get that's like got the different colors and they're fixed, and some of them have like the flat stopper and some of them have like the little white kind of chunky plastic end on them. They're pretty much generic. They're not really like, oh, they're Furls or they're Susan Bates or whatever. These are just a generic. That's the way these locker hooks are. They're just metal, and they're sold under nooking hooks and locker hooks, and I think they're called a weaving tool for weaves, and they've got all kinds of things. But they're like a crochet hook with a hole in the end of it. But I originally did projects with locker hooks in the beginning when I was learning. They have different craft things that you could do, and that's the correct name for the ones that I'm using are called locker hooks. So yeah, that gives everybody an opportunity to go, because Hobby Lobby has their yarn on sale next week, I believe. So that gives everybody an opportunity to go in and, you know, pick up some yarn that you might want to use for this, and get your hooks in and play around with some things. For the hat, I will be using 2 different colors. For the ribbing, I will be using 1. So it just depends on the design, if you want a design in it or you don't. If you don't, then it's going to be like the Tunisian in the round, where if you used 1 color, then you're not going to see both, you're not going to see the return pass and the forward pass, where if you're using 2 different colors, then it could have the hot pad appearance where you're using the Tunisian simple stitch and carrying that through, or you could have the knit stitch with the same stitches that we use for our stocking that will give a designed effect. So if you figure out what your hat size is and what you want to do for what your gauge is going to be for your hat, then you can work out, what kind of stitches you want in there. Alright guys, I don't see any questions. So if you guys think of something, hit me up real quick, and then I'm probably going to wrap things up tonight. Like I said, I do have a pink on the way, so I will be using the pink and the white and the purple, and then I did order this dark teal because I wanted something that was going to really contrast. So I have to see how this works with my design, because if it doesn't, then I'll be sticking with the pastels. So I think that pretty much wraps up all of the questions that we had. And then, yeah, this 60% silk, 30% wool, 10% cashmere. I cannot even describe to you guys how silky and soft this stuff is, and it is awesome. It's shiny. It's got like a sheen to it. So I'm really impressed with this. When I originally bought this, like I said, I won this because I play farmland. So I won a pack and thought, oh yeah, we'll see what it works. And when I started working it up, I was really impressed with it. So that's what I'll be using for mine. But again, if you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. You can see me over in the group or ask here. Go over, grab your pattern. It'll be free until tomorrow at 7 a.m. And if you need anything, let me know. I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.
Hey, Nana, what are you doing?